everyone, I'm Heather. I'm back. Just quick video as part of Amanda's Stephen Graham Jones project. So Amanda at the Reading and Writing Life, she has decided to get one person every day in June to sort of read a book from Stephen Graham Jones' backlist and then do a video about it, and then she's going to sort of like put it together as a catalogue of his works. I read Only the Good Indians sort of ages ago and absolutely loved it, but didn't realise that that author's backlist is absolutely massive, is huge. He's written absolutely loads of stuff, and like loads I've never heard of, and then just sort of go and go and go. Like the fact that you can sort of read a book for every day in June and still not get through his stuff is like amazing. But for this project I've chosen Zombie Bake Off, and it was something that Amanda read and really enjoyed, so I thought, well, I'll pick that one, that'll be really good. So the premise for Zombie Bake Off is you got these teens, right, and they're driving like their dad's donut truck, and they're sort of joyriding in the night, and they hit this guy, and instead of sort of telling anyone or sort of fessing up or whatever, they just dump the body. But for ages, while they're sort of messing around, like finding a place to dump the body or whatever, this dead body is riding around in the back with their dad's donut supply, or like the donuts from the donut company, that, you know, the donut van. And this dead guy, he's like some sort of zombie, and so like all of his zombiness like leaks into the donuts, right? So then come to this like event thing later. It's like this big stadium type thing, and like the event that's on in the daytime is this like bake off thing, or this like sort of like old ladies and like soccer moms sort of like daytime baking thing, where you go around and like you try everyone's stuff and you learn about new ingredients and blah blah blah. And then the thing in the nighttime for this couple of days for this event is like a SmackDown wrestling show or something like this. So basically the wrestlers arrive too early, and they arrive during this sort of like bake-off event thing, and start to sort of like be a bit rowdy and like mess everything up. So this like coordinator of the event stuff put the wrestlers in a room, and they're like, you can like mess around here until your event of the nighttime. Like, you have to be quiet now because there's like, you know, respectable ladies out doing, you know, baking stuff. She puts them in this room with all these donuts that are left over for like security guards or whatever, and of course they eat those, but of course they're the donuts that were riding around in the van with the zombie and like getting all the zombie juice in them, so they all become zombies. And like basically this whole story sort of comes down to some sort of like crazy locked in smackdown between like soccer moms and these wrestling dudes and fans and like zombies and whatever. And it's like this band of sort of like main characters, this like coordinator woman and this like security guard, and like these two like famous wrestler dudes, like all sort of like going around basically trying to survive this sort of like lockdown, like smackdown type thing, Thunderdome zombie event. So I did enjoy it. I did think it was like really funny, and it's quite clever, and I quite like, you know, how everyone's sort of like this band of characters like going around like trying to sort of you know, survive this ridiculous situation. But I'm not sure like this is what I wanted from Stephen Graham Jones. Like I loved his Only the Good Indians, and it was like, it wasn't serious so much as like, I don't know, like moody and dark and like contemplative, and I don't know, it was sort of heavier, like a sort of like heavier vibe, like a heavier contemplative vibe that I really liked. With this one, it's just pure silliness, and like I think quite satirical maybe of like the genre of horror, you know, like a sort of like a cinematic experience, like a sort of like horror B-movie. It's like making fun of it, you know. The characters are all sort of quite caricature like characters, like over the top sort of stereotypical horror characters. I mean, and I mean, if you're into that, if you're into like horror B movies, you know, just for like the pure silliness of horror and stuff, like this I think is for you. Like I think you would really enjoy it. But for me, I just really loved that other one, and it's a completely different vibe. It's ruined it for me. Like I've fallen in love with that other one that had a completely different sort of like heavier contemplative vibe, and this one was just a bit too silly, you know. Not that I hate silly stuff, but it's too satirical and, you know, taking the piss out of everything for me personally. But it wasn't bad. I didn't hate that. Like, if that's your niche, I think you'd really enjoy that. So I'm supposed to pass this now on to Jake at Bookish Drummer. I'll link that below. He's going to do the next one in like the catalogue of Stephen Graham Jones for the project, right? And he's going to do The Last Final Girl, which I think from what I've seen and sort of heard about might potentially be sort of more my speed, like more my jam for this project and this author. So I'll wait, like I'll look at his one and see what he says about his. I think I'm not going to give up on Stephen Graham Jones. I think there are more ones he's written that I would be into, but I think this one was sort of less it for me. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, this playlist that Amanda's made, I'm going to put it down below, sort of link to the whole playlist, and it's just basically on her channel then, going to be like a catalogue from like the 1st of June to like the 30th of June or whatever, of just like a bunch of people reading Stephen Graham Jones and like saying like a little review about it, which is gonna be really good. Like, I'm excited to watch like sort of all the ones in the playlist. But that's me. That's the end of my contribution. If anyone has any questions at all, anything to say about this book or Stephen Graham Jones or the project or anything, please let me know, and I will see you next time.